on your page. I'm on Backers. Yeah.
Well, we're live. Everyone, Backers live. Justin Fox, got Cam Tabaret. How are you, Cam? Welcome to the show. It's been a long while since I've hosted a live here on Backers. Took a bit of the summer off, summer off. But everyone else out there that's watching, welcome back to another Backers Live. We're going to start doing these a lot more regularly, but we have here Cam from the Volatile Project and Bootleggers Cocktail. Cam, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Justin. I'm Cam Tabaret. I'm one of the founders and CEO of the Volatile Project and Bootleggers Cocktail. Happy to be here and happy that we're working together on this fantastic opportunity.
Yeah, no, appreciate it. Thank you for choosing Backers to launch your crowdfunding. So for those that aren't watching or that are watching, so currently Bootleggers, and I'm just sharing this to sort of some of the other channels here, but Bootleggers and the Volatile Project are raising capital currently on the Backers platform, on the Backers funding portal. So Cam, why don't you tell the people out there a little bit about the Volatile Project, tell them a little bit about Bootleggers, and obviously why they might want to invest.
Absolutely. So the Volatile Project is the name of the entity that I started 5 years ago when I was transitioning from my 9-to-5 job as an engineer, and I was a pretty good engineer actually at the time, into my passion journey and entrepreneurial passion journey. I literally quit everything over a 3-year transition, fully got into it from 2018 to 2021, and of course pandemic was in the middle, and then we changed a couple of things, and we had a couple of pivots until we got to where we are today after 5 years. Exactly yesterday marked the 5th year anniversary of the Volatile Project unofficial start when I started the journey. It's been a blessed journey, and as most entrepreneurs say, there is never a look back anyways. So Volatile Project, when it started, was mostly is still valid and remains the backbone of what we do. And it's about creating an environment that in a very engaging and influential model combines art, hospitality, and entertainment. As you might have noticed today, as we are doing this raise, we are focusing on Bootleggers Cocktail, which is truly the first and the only real craft cocktail in the world that has been put in a situation that can be in a can, packaged in a can or bottle, and accessible to all people all around the world, rather than just being in a cocktail bar. And there's a lot of art inspirations and a lot of engagement from the world of art and entertainment into this. And it's truly a natural, organic progression from the basics and the pillars of the concept that started 5 years ago. So there's a long story of how we got here, of course, but just to start with the current situation, the current model, and what we have and why we are raising and what we are giving away. With that, I should say that, as I said, Bootleggers Cocktail at this point is a leader of real craft cocktail products in a retail packaged model, and to the best of our knowledge is the only one available out there. We have footprint in both California in United States and British Columbia in Canada. Of course, we are Canadian to begin with, and it's our home base. But the reason we are doing this raise is first, we want to grow and we want to fuel our growth into the United States market and expansion in Canada even further beyond where we are. And with that, we also would like to provide an opportunity for a lot of people who are our followers. They've been following us for the last 5 years through the ups and downs and through the all beautiful experiences that we hosted, also in-person experiences over the 5 years. The last of them was the massive Science World event in Vancouver that featured the first live drone show in Vancouver. And we want to give back. We want a lot of this excitement that is around the brand with all these people, our friends, family, the extended network of fans and enthusiasts, to have an opportunity to joining our journey. It's fun. It's been fun for us, and it could be fun for a lot of other people. And also, it allows people who are actually passionate about this journey to join in. And also, it's a good investment in the future. We're really rebuilding the future of craft cocktails in the retail market, as we also touch based the boundaries of art and entertainment industries with that.
Cool. Awesome. So yeah, I mean, congratulations on the journey. Obviously 5 years. We're actually coming up on sort of 5 years of our journey on October 1st. So yeah, interesting how time flies, I guess, when you're having fun, right? And as you mentioned, the event the other day was great. We were
Absolutely.
there. Yeah, exactly. We were at the event, great event with Pixel and some of the other organizations that were there. The drone show. So that was super exciting to be a part of that. So for those that are watching, obviously, as I said, Bootleggers and the Volatile Project are raising capital on the funding portal, the Backers Securities Inc. funding portal. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what the offering is, what they're going to get as part of that offering? Maybe get into, don't necessarily want to get into too many around sort of the financials necessarily, but, where you see the business going over the next, sort of 30, 60, 90 days, maybe over the next 1, 3, 5 years. What's sort of the plan there?
Absolutely. So with this, with joining our journey, I guess anybody who joins in, first of all, is gonna earn equity ownership of the company, and that's $1 per share at this point that is offered. And so now, what does that get you in the long run? That goes to our growth plan and a strategy that allows us to grow, increase the value of the invested capital over time with proper operations and the growth that is in place, and of course to exit with financial benefit for everybody. But before I get there, we also added some fun perks as part of this crowdfunding, because of course we know crowdfunding is for retail investors, is for people, everyday people, right, who are not necessarily into huge amount of accredited investors into startups and businesses, rather for everyday friends, family, colleagues, people who know us and we want to be part of this journey because they saw how rewarding and fun this is. And to that end, we wanted to offer something that really is kind of like a token of appreciation for trusting us and joining this journey. And depending on the level, between $100 all the way to $2,500, which is the minimum and maximum available for crowdfunding campaigns, of course, per person, we are offering some really fun perks, including and starting with getting always being the first person who will have access to the new products before they're even released into the market, having complimentary access to most of our events, in-person events, both in and wherever we have the events. It could be in British Columbia, in Vancouver, it could be in LA, it could be in Miami next year, and it's really a boutique, unique opportunity for people who are enthusiasts of art and entertainment to join in for those perks as well. And of course, the plan with that said, the big plan, of course, that the main reason we fundraise is to support the growth plan, of course, is a 3-stage growth strategy until end of 2024. With this 3-phase growth, the first phase actually happens next month, as we are finally doing the second round of our product production in California. There's going to be 3 different recipes that are coming in 355 ml cans with printed cans with labels, including espresso martini, our newest flavor, which is to die for, absolutely. And we're expanding with that in an LA market and Vancouver market very aggressively. And the plan is to reproduce again in March with doubling the volume, which allows us to expand into Florida, New York, and Nevada market, as well as some of the other Canadian provinces such as Ontario and Alberta and Manitoba, hopefully. And eventually, the third phase of this plan is to make it to a complete 100,000 cans production and sales within 2024 year. So whatever is the remaining amount is going to be produced in August, September of next year, which is about a year from now. And that will complete our cycle. And we're going to be about 10 markets with that. That's the trajectory that we're targeting. And the 10 markets will have somewhat equal presentation across US and Canada, with a little bit heavier on the bigger markets in the US, especially California. But then that's the first phase of the bigger plan, which is a 3-stage milestone. After that, we are targeting a much bigger raise for, like a accredited raise of $1 million plus for nationwide expansion to take over North America completely and touch base in Mexico and UK slowly, as we are already planning productions for those markets. They're huge markets, and we know we have lots of good connections, and we would like to, accelerate this growth as fast as possible. So by the end of 2025, we want to be in a position that is desirable for our targeted exit plan.
Awesome. So, well, congrats, obviously, on the starting of phase one, rolling out. As I said, we were at the event the other day at Science World, tasted some of the first couple there. Trying to think of the names. They have very unique names.
Yeah. Dance of Shadows is the one with vodka and grapefruit, and Phoenix Feather is the fans' favorite.
Phoenix Feather was the good one.
Fruit.
Sort of the tequila one. Yeah, it was definitely great. So for those that are watching, and I'll throw this out there as well, backers now is so you can invest in Bootleggers, in the Volatile Project, both in Ontario and BC. And now we've just recently, as recent as last Thursday, just opened up Alberta officially. So people in those, you mentioned those 3 provinces as areas where you will be expanding. So definitely people in those provinces have the opportunity through the funding portal to now invest in the Volatile Project. Obviously, the link is below this. Do your own due diligence and understand what it is that you're investing in. Obviously, very, can be high risk. So what you talk a little bit about where you're going. I think the story is kind of cool. You mentioned 5 years, kind of skirted over what that looked like. Why don't you tell the people a little bit about that 5-year journey and where, how you've evolved from the original idea and kind of to Bootleggers over the 5 years?
Absolutely. It's in fact a very cool story because of my personal, journey and background. And I'm happy to share that. It's actually very rewarding and inspirational for a lot of people. As I say this story, and I've said it many times, and every time it gets better and better, because there are always new additions to it as we go along, right? But the whole thing started, of course, 5 years ago. I used to be a professional engineer, and I worked as a professional engineer for about 10 years across utilities industry and insurance industry eventually. And I had a chance, because of my personal preferences of life and who I am, and awareness about, on the personal level, I had a chance to travel. I pushed myself to travel quite a bit in my 20s back in time. And every time I traveled, I caught myself really being extremely drawn into really unique social circumstances and experiences that always had a touch between art, hospitality, culinary art, mixology art, the bar scene, and music, and to some extent, even nightlife in that sense, right? And I felt a lot of goosebumps in life. I found myself being in these moments in, by the beach in Europe or in South America and Asia, and, meeting these new people, being in a social circumstance, feeling something. I felt something. And there was a point in my life that I realized, I love what I do as an engineer as well. I was doing a lot of project management, business development, marketing as well, beside the actual cool projects that I was running. But, it was time that I realized, what I really care about is those circumstances, not only for myself, but I do want to share that with people. I want everybody around me to feel something, and with that feeling, get the goosebump and transition out of your routine into something bigger, better, an awareness about the vision of your existence and how to make the most of it and share that with other people to elevate their life as well with you. And really, that was the philosophical reason behind my personal transition. And once I felt comfortable and really sure that this is it and I need to do it, and it's too late, it's now or it's going to be too late. It was my 32nd birthday. I never forget that. I had, a moment of complete explosion in my head. I'm like, I got to do this. And I'm decided to do it from the next day, literally. Um, with that journey, my first target was to bring a very cool art inspired, unique, ever changing experience into the hospitality scene, and started in Vancouver, was supposed to grow it into Los Angeles, Miami, New York, and Toronto eventually. Well, I worked on it for 2 years, had designs, people, concept, funding, everything in place. And just before the lease offer for the venue was accepted, unfortunately, we went to pandemic shutdowns. Sounds like a familiar story for a lot of entrepreneurs and a lot of people, of course. It was very heartbreaking, but there's always a reason. And with that, you have to move on, focus, and change your ways and adapt. And I did. And over the year leading or after pandemic, after that incident of the first shutdowns in March of 2020, it took me a year with my first major business partner to get together and rebuild the concept and reshape it into something that is scalable, pandemic proof, and it still gives out that same unique feeling that I was trying to create and share with people. Um, as we built it, we went through a few iterations of our entrepreneurial journey with the product. And along the way, we met our third partner, which is on the major executive partners that we have, is the three of us. And he's an artist. So Jean, the first one, is coming from hospitality world and management world. The second one comes from the world of art. And with that, we had the perfect combination of people. And the world started opening up. We started showcasing some of our creative concepts that eventually leads to the product in an in-person experiences. And it was revolutionizing for especially Vancouver, because everybody knows Vancouver, they call it a no fun city. It's a beautiful place, but there's not much happening in the nightlife and art scene. But we brought this whole European model into the city, and it started blowing up slowly. And as we were doing that, we launched our iterations of the product. The first idea, which is cool to actually touch base on it, was to bring the whole meal prep model into the cocktail world and make it like a cocktail kit by subscription, that all the ingredients based on new recipes are separately packaged, labeled, and there is a video recipe. All you get every week, you get 3 maybe recipes, everything's ready, you make it, enjoy it, share it with people. That led us to the second iteration, which was replicating the ghost kitchen model in a cocktail or bar model, and called it a ghost bar. We partner up with restaurants that had a liquor license for delivery on Uber Eats and DoorDash and all these platforms. And we made craft cocktails out of those places. We would put them on Uber Eats and sell them and deliver them. And then we realized the challenges along the way with this stuff: shelf stability of a fresh product, the legalities, the number of steps that you have to take as a consumer to still drink something. Realize people want to drink and want to drink right now. If you go online or go to a store, you want accessibility immediately, but also you want the perfect quality and you want an experience by all means. So we put all of those experiences together, all of those thoughts together, supported it by our brand that was organically developing around the experiential art inspired entertainment through our events. And we launched finally a ready to drink craft cocktail with all natural ingredients. It's about 10% ABV. It's inspired and paired with art, every flavor, original recipes, non-carbonated, and it's just, you got to taste it to believe it. And I know you tasted it last week at the event, and it's really, it screams at you when you see it and you drink it. And now we are getting to the point that, of course, our events started completely supporting our product as a heavy marketing tool, in-house marketing tool, which was brilliant to leverage. And now we're slowly getting to the point that we would like to, like, go off balance and bring the product, share our love with everyone through the product, and give it out to people everywhere, as globally as you can imagine. And that's why it brings us to the fundraising, of course.
So it's interesting. You touched on a couple things. Obviously, hearing your story, kind of that you went through. One of the things that struck or jumped out to me before was kind of the mixology and the kind of science that went into the development of the drinks. I don't know if you want to maybe touch on that, and then the other side, maybe quickly, and then the other side is the business model, which people can obviously see on the investor deck. But yeah, the model around sort of the events as being as key, sort of, and the experiences as key to the brand as the product, obviously, and kind of equally important. So maybe you want to touch on how that business model works. But yeah, tell us about the mixology. I think that sort of the science behind it was kind of interesting when you told me the story, a few months back.
Yeah, absolutely. So think about this. I'm an engineer by background. I see everything through process, dissect everything into pieces and rebuild them together, right? There is innovation in engineering too. And then my other partner, Jean Levin, he is a Michelin star chef. So he works with flavors, with creative concepts to bring something that is mind blowing into a recipe. And then our other partner, Kirash TK, is an artist, well known, diverse artist in fashion, like visual art, digital art. And now you're putting all of these together. What you get is something that is way more than a cocktail, is an absolute art on its own. And of course, it's supported by food science. So we met our food scientist partner along the way as we were developing all of this. And I'm smiling because it makes me smile because it's so beautiful that is really, it makes me happy to just think about it. And it's supported by food science. That's how we can make a real cocktail with real ingredients, shelf stable enough to be in a can or a bottle. And yeah, we designed the recipes first with Jean to make something very unique with like mesmerizing flavors that are new sometimes to people and are different and all original. You don't just get a Negroni or old fashioned in our products. It's like a full on creative original recipes. And we had the art through Kirash, and we were talking all together and sitting down and spent hours onto understanding how can we pair the emotional experience you get from looking at an art piece with the feeling you get from tasting the cocktails, and how can we make sure this helps with that and the art helps with the flavor and the flavor helps with the art, and then combined together you really have something that it makes you think, it makes you happy, it like sits well with your body and your soul really. So that's a little bit of that. It really comes from having creative powerhouses on the team and also an engineering mind from my side of things as well, which has been very beautiful. Now on the business model, that's
Just to
also
that
another.
note, though, it does show,
Yeah,
obviously,
yeah.
for those that have tasted it. There was a number of people at the event I talked to. It definitely had a very, yeah, the taste and the flavor of the cocktails was different from anything you've tried, for sure.
Thank you. And yeah, and I mean, it's always the problem is we don't have enough products now. Every time we're sold out, and that's good, and that's why we do
I think it
crowdfunding to
sold out
fill
that
the
night as
gaps to
well.
be able to support it. Yeah, it's a good problem to have, of course.
Yeah.
Uh, Now back to the business model. The business model is also very interesting, right? Because we didn't start this business to have a retail product to begin with. We wanted to purely, the focus was having a cocktail brand that is very creative, very art inspired, and brings an experience to life rather than just a drink. So that's a difference we have with other brands, and all the other big brands. They're just a drink. They were made to be a drink. It's not. It wasn't meant to be an art experience, right? But we had this brand built around it with the events and with the multiple iterations that we went through after pandemic. And when we were ready for the product, obviously we want to share our experience with as many people as possible, and retail product is the best way to do that. Now, having the brand with all these in-person experiences available, we decided to combine them together and make one uniform model out of it, right? So the events create revenue, generate revenue. They, most of them are also profitable, sometimes break even, but again, that pays a lot of our staff and our team, but also provides a very unique exclusive platform through which we can promote and market the product and sell the product beside all the normal routine channels. And with that whole brand of events, we also made a lot of key connections in the hospitality sector and art sector and nightlife sector. Massive, massive connections. So now it allows us to slowly, as we increase our inventory, to not only rely on the normal liquor store retail channel. Rather, the reality is that if you are selling your product at a music festival with 10,000 attendees, in one night you move 3,000 units. Whereas if you want to move 3,000 units through retail channels, that takes months, right? And we have those key connections already before even our inventory gets too big. And we're building, we keep building those connections, nurturing those connections, and focusing on them, because that's the big game, right? From the financial perspective, that's what you want to focus. But of course, you need your retail footprint, because then somebody goes to the event, they like it. Oh, where do I buy it when I'm home, right? And we do have a really good footprint already in British Columbia. We're building slowly the footprint in California, and we are supporting it both from the marketing and extra or additional sales channel with our events and experiences. And trust me, every event that we have adds a whole layer of new opportunities and connections to it. And we're going to keep it going for at least until end of 2024. The model is going to be the same, so they support each other. And um, and eventually, when we get to the second phase of the big production, big growth, which is the accredited raise for a nationwide expansion, that's the point that we're going to kind of shift the model slowly, focus on the huge marketing opportunities and sponsorships, using and leveraging all those relationships that we built and have built now, and will be built even more by then. And then like go that way, and our events would be only focus on something that is very unique, once every 2-3 months maybe, and it still moves the product, but again, it won't be like the Achilles heel of the business, right? That's the idea. So we don't want to create an Achilles heel for the business. We are, at the end of the day, in the business of craft cocktails, and that's kind of what we're focusing on.
Cool, very cool. So I guess you mentioned or touched on a couple events. We just were at one last weekend or this past weekend. Where are some of the upcoming events where people can come out, check out, taste one of the beverages? Where are they? When are they? Maybe throw a shout out. And then also you mentioned there is some retail distribution currently in BC. So maybe you want to throw out, are there any specific vendors that you have that you've partnered with? That maybe you can give a shout out, maybe where people can buy them, as you said, outside of events.
Absolutely. So to answer the first question, the current program we have for our events in Vancouver is once a month. And so October, November, December, there are 3 events already pretty much scheduled. October 13th, we have a very cool, elegant gala at the Vancouver Club, the famous membership club in Vancouver. But you don't need to be a member to get in. And that's the whole thing. With the ticket, you can get in, enjoy the place, and enjoy a very, very unique contemporary art exhibition combined with a musical show and a very fascinating cocktail experience. That, in fact, we're actually this time making live cocktails with the full show to pair with the art, beside of course having our brand and cans available. It's another way that we touch base and connect people and show that, hey, what you're drinking in a can is as good as this is it's the same thing, basically. And we have managed and mastered the idea to be able to put that same amazing, fascinating cocktail in the can. This event at Vancouver Club features masterpieces of contemporary art: Salvador Dali, Pablo Picasso, Joan Miro, local artists. It's amazing. Lots of live performances, great DJs. It's a heaven for artists, creatives, and people who love a good experience. The tickets are live on our website and our Instagram, bootleggerscocktail.com. Go to the events tab and you see it. And since we're on there on the website, you can go also to the tab that says where to buy, and the list of all the liquor stores in British Columbia that carry our product, with the link to the Google map of how to get there, is there. So you can easily see, I think we're in 12 liquor stores already. They're private liquor stores, not the government stores. And also, more and more as we go, we are available in many other outlets, some restaurants, nightlife venues. Harbor Event Center is the biggest single event venue or a nightclub model in Vancouver, and they carry Bootleggers.
Cool. Awesome. So check it out in venues near you, right? And it looks like the 13th, 14th, sorry, is going to be an exciting event. So backers.
Absolutely. Oh, and then the next one's November and December as well. I forgot
Right.
to mention that. November 17, we have an event at Vancouver Aquarium. It's absolutely insane. In the live wildlife exhibition, you have the art, the music, the cocktails, people. Is going to be very beautiful. Another fascinating experience. And the Christmas special edition we have is going to be at the Pan Pacific Hotel Crystal Ballroom, one of the most gorgeous ballrooms in Vancouver, that is like covered on the ceiling by all crystal fixture. Is like, it's like a maze of mirrors basically. Is beautiful, and it's going to be that event as well. And check our website and get our email list, because then there's so many little boutique experiences that sometimes we don't publicize, and we just ask our network and invite them exclusively to come and join. But of course, if you invest on the crowdfunding campaign, then you will have access to all of those for free as well.
Awesome. Well, yeah, look forward to being part of it with you guys. Excited to kind of join on the journey, as you've said. So any final parting words? Everyone else, obviously, check out their offering, if you're so inclined, on the backers funding portal. Any sort of final words before? Be there on the 14th.
October 13th.
13th. I said it right the first time. Yeah, 13th. What parting words before we leave here? Everyone else, I guess, before I say thanks for joining us, obviously, Justin Fox, backers, Cam Tabaret from Bootleggers or the Volatile Project. Cam, what are your final words before we sign off here?
My final words are that if you don't believe us, give us a call. I'll bring you a sample. You taste it to believe it. That's what I say. Our product sells itself. It's an experience, and we take absolute pride and prejudice in building something that is way beyond a product, a drink. It's a full-on experience, and experience never dies. It lingers along with you for the rest of your life.
There you go. Awesome. Well, everyone else, appreciate you guys joining us. Enjoy the rest of your day. Yeah, cheers. Where we cheers? Yeah.
Yes, there we go.
We'll see you guys. We'll see you guys again in the next couple of days. All right.
Absolutely.
All right.
Thank
cheers.
you. Have a good one. Bye.